Hi everybody, Judy Tuttle here with Tuttle Up Stamping. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in Midland, Texas, and I'm excited to be with you here today. This is day 2 of this week's online class to go, and this week I'm using 3 different separate individual products, well more than 3 really, but 3 main ones, and we're mashing them all up and getting beautiful results with it, so I can't wait to share that with you. Before I start stamping, I want to share some updates with you, if that's okay. Stampin' Up just announced today that they will be giving double reward points on May the 2nd and May the 3rd. So that will be Friday and Saturday. So if you place an order in my online store of $20 or more, you will get double the points. So a $20 order normally would give you $2 in rewards. They would give you $4 in rewards. If you place a $50 order, normally you would get $5 in rewards, but they would give you $10 in rewards. So that essentially is like 20% off your current order, or you can look at it as 20% in free product for the future. So that's pretty cool. So that will be this Friday and Saturday. I'm sure I'll tell you more about that as the weekend gets closer. Next, once again, my Florals and Bloom class is on May the 9th. You can take this in person or to go. You make 8 cards using that beautiful Florals and Bloom bundle. Hi, Sharon. Thanks for joining me. And I gave you half a pack of the Designer Series paper, a full pack of those in color embellishments that you can see in the picture there, and all the ribbon that you need, PDF. It's a great class. It's a great class to jump off the new catalog. And so I'm really excited to share that with you because all the new in colors are in this paper. It gives us a chance to play with that a little bit. Okay, next, let's go to my BOGO sale coming up on May the 23rd in person or May the 24th online. I put a link to that in the description here after this video is over. And last but not least, I just added an event today in my newsletter. I'm going to have an in-person kit night and pajama party on May the 30th from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. Now, you do not have to, Kathy, you're the best. Thanks. I love that you can watch me. So my kit night and pajama party for my in-person people is going to be on May the 30th from 6 to 11 p.m. You can come in your PJs or comfy clothes. We'll have snacks. You choose a kit from my stash. We're going to play games. We're going to have fun. We're going to have girl time, which is the most important thing. So I will be sure to put the link to that, obviously. You to go people cannot come to my kit night and pajama party. I'm so sorry about that, but we will have an event for you. We always have events for you, right? So this one is for my in-person people. I'm trying to build some new customers here in Midland. So I know, doesn't that look like fun, Kathy? I'm excited about it as well. I'm getting a lot of great feedback about it already, and I just announced it today. So hi, Jeanne. Thanks for joining me. Okay, so I want to get to my cards today because they might take a little bit of time. First of all, let me review what we're using, and let me review. Let's see if I can straighten this up just a tad. There we go. Okay, so this week, all week long, I am using the Natural Botanicals Stamp set. This is, or was in, and is in the mini catalog, but it's going forward. They're continuing it on. The Pattern of Friendship is an online exclusive. I showed you this yesterday. You get a really cool texture with this die. It's got little dots in it that press into your paper. It gives a cool effect. And it coordinates with the Pattern of Friendship sentiments. You know, I think sometimes they just bundle things together so that you can get a discount. So this together, you get it for 10% off. If you buy them together, and the number is 165385 for the Pattern of Friendship bundle, the die, and the stamp set. The Natural Botanicals stamp set is 164831. And in addition to that, we are pulling in this beautiful, I put it on the ground here, I don't know why. This beautiful Floral Delight Designer Series paper. The number for that is 164700. We just thought this partnered really well with the Natural Botanical Stamp set. And we have 2 fun folds for you today. Can you believe it? Such a special day. First of all, I want to show you the 2 cards that we made yesterday. This was the first one. Super simple. We liked the idea that it didn't have a sentiment on the front because I didn't want to cover up all that beautiful designer series paper. This one used those bee trinkets on there. The bee trinkets are back ordered right now until May the 12th. That's not too far away. That's the day I leave to go to Disney in a couple weeks. So they'll be back very soon. We also brought in that gold sheer ribbon. This is a new ribbon that's going to be in one of the suites from the online exclusives coming up. One that's called Celebratory Sips. It's about cocktails. It's super fun. I did a couple of swaps with that. We're also going to use this on the Florals in Bloom class as well, okay? And then the inside was that. And then our second card yesterday was this one right here. Thinking of you brings a smile to my face, right? And that was the inside. So those are our 2 cards from yesterday. I'm going to put those aside for just a second. And I want to show you our card that Monica designed for us for today and pull out all my parts for that. Okay, so this is our card for today. Can you see the happy birthday in the background here? Just stamped all over. New ink color. Do you guys know what that one is? And it says bestie, and then on the inside it just has some pretty botanicals in the corner. So it is a fun fold. It's not your traditional fold. It kind of has a flip fold to it here. So let me show you how we did this. We started out with a piece of early espresso cut 4 1/4 by 11. 4 1/4 by 11. But then we scored it at 1 1/2 and 7. 1 1/2 and 7. So I'm gonna grab my bone folder and just fold these in, and they meet together right here on the front of the card. 4 1/4 and 7. Okay, so that's my card base in early espresso. Monica, you can tell me if I'm saying that correctly in Italian. Espresso. She always makes fun of my Italian. But, you know, I'm not Italian, so. And it's not socially acceptable to make fun of somebody's English, right? So, there you go, Monica. You're lucky that I'm such a socially aware friend here. Okay, so I have 2 panels that are going to go on top of this early espresso. One is a crumb cake, and this is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. So, it's going to leave a very small border around the edge here of the front of our card. Very small border, okay? Then I have a piece of pecan pie that's 4 by 5 1/2, okay? Now I'm going to grab that stamp from the Patterns of Friendship that just says happy birthday, and we're going to stamp on the front of this pecan pie happy birthday in Versamark. So I started down here at the bottom, and I just started stamping layers. Offsetting each of the happy birthdays. Going off the edges of the card. This is going to be just very subtly in the background, but they're going to know it's their birthday, right? Well, obviously, if you're giving them a card for their birthday, they would know it's a birthday. Okay, so just kind of going across my card here. I'm going to pretend like the edge isn't there and just keep on stamping. There we go. Just kind of cover that pecan pie. Okay. Now I'm going to grab that crumb cake layer that was 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and I'm going to add this pecan pie layer to it. If you guys ordered the ordering special, those will be going out in the next couple of days. That was my special for last week. If you spent $50, you got 24 sheets of 6 by 6 DSP, 10 of my handmade cards, and an embellishment. So those will be going out tomorrow, as well as last week's online class to go. So if you got either of those, expect those to go out tomorrow. Okay, now this panel, we have to be really careful. We don't want to glue it to this bottom edge. We only want it to go to this flap right here. So I think the best idea is just to add liquid glue to... Hi, Sue. Hi, Jen. How are you guys? I'm happy I'm home. It was a wild... And see, this is why I should not craft and talk. I'm going to have to do something about that. What should I do? I'm not sure. Jen, I started talking to you and then I glued where I wasn't supposed to glue. It's not your fault. It's my fault because I am so singular minded. I'm going to just try to take a wet wipe here. Just for the sake of this video, you guys. Normally, I would probably restamp the whole thing. And maybe I will. Do you think I should? Maybe I'll... You know what? That was the end. Okay, yes. Let's just do a do-over here. And Jen, don't talk to me anymore. Jeez Louise, I'm such a mess. Okay, so 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. Okay, so for the sake of the video, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. Jeez. Okay. I'm just going to put this crumb cake on top of this crumb cake, okay? I'm going to glue them together so that I can fix this problem I have right here. Okay. And I didn't even want to put glue on that crumb cake. I wanted to put it on my label, my panel on the front here. Okay, so that will fix my problem for this time. And what I'm going to do is add glue right to this front panel right here. Just right there. That's the only place I want that glue, is right on that top panel right there. Are you guys going, oh my gosh, Judy, you're a mess? Well, I am a mess, friends. Okay, so my beautiful masterpiece of messiness. Okay, here we go. There's my panel on the front of my card right there. It's a little thicker than it should be, but it's going to be fine. All right, so there we go. Now, I cut 2 pieces of DSP. I cut this one and this one, and they look the same. This one is 2 inches by 5 1/4 inches, and this one is 7/8 inches by 4 1/4 inches. And I used my hexagon punch and punched some little banners at the end of each one. And I'm just going to glue these to the front of my card right like this. So Lincoln, my grandson, is supposed to have a t-ball game tonight, but they're thinking storms might roll in. It's starting to look a little gloomy out there, so maybe he won't play, which would be a disappointment. The other side of that same DSP has this green kind of almost fabric-y. Oh, thanks, Kathy. You're always so sweet. You're always so sweet about my mistakes. But anyway, there you go. Just put another piece of paper on top of it and then it's fixed. Okay, so then this banner I'm putting right next to that one, right like that. Okay, now I have the Nested Essentials die in basic white. This is the largest of the rectangular shaped ones. And I'm going to use a new color here, you guys. Are you ready for this? I'm going to use a new ink color that's coming out with a new catalog called Strawberry Slush. I'm kind of in love with this color. I hope you guys really love it as much as me. I'm going to stamp the detail right here. And then I'm going to stamp another detail right here. And then Kathy, you remember yesterday that we cleaned off the detail stamp and flipped it over because this is a reversible stamp set, which is super fun. So I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to ink it up with that Strawberry Slush, but I'm going to stamp it off once so it's not so dark. This is really important when doing this background, okay? I don't know if my head's in the middle of the camera or not, but we're going to just stamp it over. How pretty is that? I love this. Okay, I'm going to stamp it off again. You see I'm doing a lot of stamping off today here by my grid paper. There we go. There's my two flowers in Strawberry Slush, one of the new ink colors that's coming out. Okay, now I'm going to take my gold ribbon and I'm going to cut two about 3 to 4 inch strips here. I'm going to place it on the front of my card and I'm going to kind of exit, not exit like leave the room, but make an X out of the ribbons is what I'm trying to say. And I'm going to put a piece of tear and tape right there. It's pretty cool. You can't do it with all the stamps. These are designed so that you can, but it's pretty fun. We used to have a turtle set that kind of did that same thing. All right, so those are my ribbons right there on the front. I'm going to take this panel, and those ribbons are just going to kind of peek through behind our flowers here. So I'm going to grab some dimensionals. There we go. I have 2 more pieces here left. So I added dimensionals to the back of that panel, and it's going to go right here, right on the front, right there. I like it because it kind of looks watercolored, doesn't it? That's a really cool thing about that. Okay, so I have a piece of Pool Party, and mine is about 3/4 by 1.5. Okay, now I'm grabbing the word Bestie and my Memento Black. And so here's my Memento Black that I put into an uninked ink pad because I really like that the foam ink pads hold the ink a little longer, I feel like. Okay, so I'm taking the word Bestie, So I just used my black Memento Black re-inker and bought an uninked ink pad like the Craft White. And I just inked it up with black. And now I have a full size black. Okay. Now, this bestie is going to go right here. That is so cute, isn't it? So, put a couple of dimensionals on the back here. And you guys are going to have to sit down and get ready for this next fun fold after this one because it is amazing. But there's some measurements to it that you're going to have to know in order to make it, or you can just get the class to go and then I do all that work for you, right? That's one of the benefits of doing a class to go with me. Okay, so since I ran out of those bees, like I said earlier, I think for this one, I'm going to take some of those dragonflies from, tell me what the name of this is. You guys know it. Right here. They are called adhesive back. What's the name of these dragonflies and birds? You know what their name is? Adhesive back dragonflies and birds. There you go. They didn't want us to have to think too hard about that one, did they? Okay, so here's some dragonflies from a previously opened. And I'm just going to take one of these dragonflies and just put it right there next to the flowers. Pretty, huh? Okay, now for the inside, we're going back to this daisy, the flat side of the daisy. And I'm going to do just what I did before. I'm going to ink up the flat side. I'm going to stamp it off. And then I'm going to stamp it right here. There we go. And then I'm going to grab my large leaves. I know. I love the font they used for all of the pattern of friendships. I like that some are bold and some are not. It's just a really great sentiment set, I think. Okay, so here's my leaves. I'm just going to add some leaves right there to the bottom corner. Okay, right underneath that flower. Very watercolor-esque, I think. And then this is going to go inside my card, right like this. Right? You're right, Sue. I agree. Sometimes these names are just weird, aren't they? But there is a person who that's their job is to name things, and I'm sure it's not as easy as we think it would be. Coming up with different names for every single stamp set and die set that's in the catalog. Okay, so there we go. There's card number 1. That's a little fun fold that's not too hard, right? And we purposely made this one easy because the next one's going to be a little bit crazy. But we're going to have fun putting it together, okay? So, first of all, I put the next card into an envelope because I wanted to prove to you that it would fit, okay? So, Kathy, I know you like fun folds. So here we go. Are you ready? It fits into an envelope. The finished size of the card is 4 1/4 by 5 1/4. Okay, 4 1/4 by 5 1/4. I am too. They just recently did that, didn't they, Sue? And it made all the difference. Okay, so here's our card. When it comes out, they can pull it apart like this and open it up like this. Look at that. It's like panels, right? And then look, it can sit on top of their desk right like that. Now, the cool thing too about this card is that the center panel opens up and you can write on the inside. How cool is that? And this piece here, this panel, is just a 4 1/4 by 11 piece of paper. That's all it is. Just scored and cut. Okay, so I'm going to tell you how we did this. You ready? Okay. We took a piece of cardstock. I'm using Pool Party. That is 4 1/4 by 11. It's really not. Kathy, stick with me, okay? Don't freak out yet. 4 1/4 by 11. And on the long side, I scored it at 2 inches, 4 inches, 4 1/2 inches, 6 1/2 inches, 7 inches, and 9 inches. Okay? 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 2, 4, 4 1/2, 6 1/2, 7, and 9. Okay? So this is what it looks like when it's done. Okay? Now, before we do anything else, we need to do a little cutting on this inside middle panel right here. So this panel, that is from, you got 2 2-inch panels on this side, 2 2-inch panels on this side, and then you have 2 1/2 inches and a 2-inch in the center. We're going to grab a ruler and a pencil, and from the top edge between and including the 2 1/2-inch panels right here, we're going to mark down an inch. Okay, so I'm going to put my inch mark, 1 inch right there. Maybe let's do a couple of more just to get a nice straight cut right here. 1 inch down from the top, right like that. Okay, and then I'm going to draw a line. Would it help if I zoomed in a tiny bit here? There we go. So I just put 1/2 inch marks from the top, and I'm going to draw a line that is going from the beginning of the 1/2 inch on one side to the end of the 1/2 inch on the other. So that whole section right there. Okay? And then I'm going to flip it over and do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to go to here, and I'm going to make a 1 inch mark. I'm going to make another 1 inch mark right here, and another 1 inch mark right here. I don't know if I had that right. Yeah, I did. It's fine. Okay, so then I'm going to line this all up. And if it's 1 1/16 or 7/8, it's going to be fine because that middle panel is going to cover it up anyway. So I'm going from the beginning of the 1/2 inch mark to the end of the 1/2 inch mark on this side at the top and bottom. So it should look just like that. Okay, now I'm going to grab my paper cutter, and I am going to cut those lines with my paper cutter. Now the cool thing about our Stampin' Up trimmer is that we have a 1 inch line on this side. So I'm going to take my whole panel, I'm going to zoom this back out again here so you get a bigger picture. Here we go. Okay, so I'm putting my paper edge here on the 1 inch mark on right here. I'm grabbing my trimmer blade, and it has a little arrow right here, which is kind of cool. So we're going to put that on the 4 inch mark right there, 4 inches, and then I'm going to pull it down to the 7 inch mark. And if it goes into the next panel, you guys, it's going to be fine. It's going to all correct itself, okay? So there we go. There's our slit right there, okay? See our slit? I'm going to turn it around, do the same thing. I'm going to line up the edge of our panel with a 1 inch mark. I'm going to put my blade on the 4 inch mark, and I'm going to pull it down to the 7 inch mark. Okay, there we go. And there's my next little cut right there, okay? Now that I have those cut, I can take my detailed paper snips here, and I'm just going to cut down those outside score lines and remove that panel right there. Okay, I'm going to do that on the top and the bottom, and this is the hardest part of the whole thing, really. You have to believe me on this. Okay, there we go. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, so now these are going to go, you're going to take this inside panel, you're going to push that 1/2 inch over like that, and we're going to burnish that with our bone folder really good, and we're going to do the same thing on this other side. Take that middle panel, push that 1/2 inch section over, and score it really well. Now I'm going to flip this whole thing over, and I'm going to score on those score lines again. So this is what it looks like, right like that. Okay? All right. Did you guys follow along with that okay? Hi, Sherry. Okay, now this 2-inch panel that's on the outside here is going to fold in, right like that. And then I'm going to get a really good burnish on that with my bone folder. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to fold that in and burnish it really well. Right like that. Okay. Now this center part is what our middle panel is going to rest on. Okay. But we're not going to worry about that quite yet. I have 6 crumb cake cardstock panels, 6 of them. Let me pull out all my panels here. 6 of them, and since this is a 2-inch by 4 1/4 inch, each of these panels are 2 inches by 4 1/4. I've cut a bunch of these crumb cake that are 7/8 by 4 1/8. Okay, 7/8 by 4 1/8. So these panels are going to go on each of these 4 that are on the front here. And then we're going to turn it over and put it on the outsides of the other side. But let's do this side first. So let me grab some liquid glue here. Isn't it a cool fun fold? I'm not going to lie. I got a swap using a whole different stamp set and paper and everything this week of this fun fold, and I just figured out the math. I just figured out how to make it work for us because I really wanted to show you guys how cool this fun fold is. Okay, so first of all, it's a tight fit, so you want to make sure you get your corners lined up well. There we go. Let's do another one. It almost looks like an accordion panel that, you know, people used to use to divide rooms up in their homes. There we go. There's the second one. I'm going to put another one over here. Good. Well, good, Kathy. But know that it's always going to be, well, it's not always going to be here on Facebook, but it'll always be on YouTube. And that's why I keep encouraging you guys to be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, right? Because Facebook's only going to allow the videos to stay for 30 days if they haven't started that already. So there we go. There's another one. And then here's number 4. These are going to go right here. You're not being careful not to cover up the score lines and trying to get your edges kind of even. Okay, so there's the front. I'm going to flip it over, and just these 2 outside panels, I'm going to do the same thing with the crumb cake. So all the same size, 1 7/8 by 4 and 1/8 are the size of these crumb cake panels. 1 7/8 by 4 1/8. Adjust that just a tad this way. You can tell I'm not talking as much because I really need to concentrate. Okay, there we go. And then on the outside of the other side here, one 7/8 by 4 1/8, Kathy. 1 7/8 by 4 1/8 are the crumb cake panels. Okay, there we go. All right, then I cut a bunch of that Floral Delight DSP. We're going to use this side, which is, and you don't have to use what I used. I just cut ones I thought would be cool. I'm using this crumb cake, 2 of those panels, opposite side of this bright yellow. All of these panels are going to be 1 3/4 by 4. Okay, the DSP panels are going to be 1 3/4 by 4. So I cut 2 of the crumb cake. I cut 2 of this yellow that has kind of a combination of the light and dark yellow. Crushed curry and daffodil delight, and maybe even some lemon lolly in there. And then 2 of this panel right here. Those are the ones I chose, okay? So on the back side, on these outside panels, I'm putting these 2 daffodil delight crushed curry patterned one, opposite side of this white one with the flowers, okay? So here we go. Whoop. It's gonna go right there. And this one is going to go on the other side here. So it's all going to be kind of symmetric. Since I know you were all great math students, you know what symmetric means, right? Even on both sides. Could cut it down the middle and they would be the same. Okay, now that's the back side, right? I'm going to flip it over. And for the inside, my 2 inside panels, I'm using this crumb cake DSP. Right there, because I didn't want that to, like, what do I want to compete with my center panel. So I'm using a very muted crumb cake of this Floral Delight paper for these inside panels right here. What size are these DSP panels? 1 3/4 by 4. All of them are 1 3/4 by 4. Okay, and then these outside panels, I'm using this one. You could have used either side of this paper. There's no rhyme or reason, except for the crumb cake here, why I picked these panels. I just picked patterns that I liked and decided where I wanted to put them. Okay, and then this one is going to go over here on this other side. All right, and that's it for my easel part of my card right there. Okay, that's all I needed to do. Right there, I'm just going to set that aside for just a moment. I'm going to work on my front panel. So I have a panel here that is 7 by 2 3/4, 7 inches long, 2 3/4 inches wide, scored down the middle at 3 1/2. So I'm just folding that 7-inch long panel in half at the 3 1/2 inch mark. And I'm going to take my bone folder, get a good crease here. Okay, there we go. All right, now I already cut 2 white panels that are 1, 2 3/8, 2 3/8 by 3 1/2. 2 3/8 by 3.5. Does that feel right? 3 3/8 is what it should be. 3 3/8 by 2 1/8, 4/8, 5/8. Okay, so I'm going to write this down for you. Okay, the 2 white panels should be 3 3/8 by 2 5/8. The basic white. Okay. Okay, one of them I have already embossed with that Patterns of Friendship embossing die. Okay, gives some texture here. This time we're putting the texture side down. I'm going to grab my liquid glue and I'm going to get some liquid glue along all my edges here. And I'm going to attach the embossed piece to the front. The plain piece, and I'm going to grab my block and just kind of hold that down for a sec. The inside piece, I'm going to stamp, and I've got this single leaf stamp right here, and I'm grabbing my Old Olive ink, and I'm starting with 2 leaves of the basic of the detail in Old Olive. So one of them I'm going to put right there, and another one's going to kind of come over this way like that. And then I'm going to clean this off with my chamois, and I'm going to flip it over. You guys know how much I love easel cards. I love when people can display their cards on their desk or their mantle. Okay, so now I'm doing the flat side of the same leaf, just like we've been doing. I'm going to stamp it in Old Olive, stamp it off, fill in the interior to look like a watercolored kind of effect. Okay. There we go. I'm going to grab a scrap of basic white here. And I'm going to stamp a flower to go right between those leaves. So I'm going to go to this small daisy. The flat side is up right now. So I'm using crushed curry for this. It's going to bring out the darker of the yellow in that paper. The flat side, I'm going to stamp it off. Stamp it on my basic white. Clean it with my chamois. And flip it over. And now do the detail in full strength ink. There we go. So now I'm going to grab my scissors and I'm just going to fussy cut that out real quick. You're going to see how fast it goes. This isn't a hard fussy cut, just like I did yesterday with this same flower. I think I stamped it in Daffodil Delight yesterday though. How are you liking these things together? I think they're super fun. The Natural Botanicals with the Floral Delight paper and the Pattern of Friendship sentiments and die. I think they are mashing together beautifully, right? Okay, so here's my flower. I'm just going to glue it right in between those leaves right there, okay? And then this panel can go inside my front card base right here. It's going to fit right inside there. It's going to be a tight fit. I feel like I need to shave off just a tiny little edge right here. So it'll fit just a little bit better. Let me try that a little bit more. There we go. This is going to go on the inside of this card front. So tomorrow we'll have a 3D project for you. I have to take Rory to the groomers at 10, so I'm thinking it'll be about 11 when I come live. Okay, and so there we go. There's where we are so far. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and glue this to just this inside, in between, just right here, part of the panel on the front. Okay, so I'm going to use some liquid glue because I don't want glue to go onto any of these side panels right here. Okay, so I'm just going to add some liquid glue right here. You get pretty close to those edges. Okay, I'm going to kind of center my card base, and I'm going to kind of line it up on some lines so I can see that above here I have 4 squares. Right in here I have about 4 squares. I'm going to add this on so that it covers about 1.5 of those squares at the top and the bottom, and press that down. If it's a little bit off, no one is going to know the difference. Okay, so I'm going to grab that block again and kind of hold that in place right there. Okay, now while that is all gelling, I'm going to do my card front, and we will do the decorations that are going to go in front, and we will almost be good to go. Okay, so I cut a crumb cake stitched circle. This is the stitch circle, second to the largest. It's about 2 3/8 inches wide. And then I cut the next smaller size in basic white. So those are going to nest together right like that, okay? And then I just have a scrap of white here. Let me pull this one out that's under here. I have some pieces that I cut that were left over. Okay, there we go. I'm going to pull this one out right here. Now, all I'm going to do on the center of this right here is stamp my daisy, coneflower, whatever you want to call it, the detailed side only and up, and I'm going to use that crushed curry ink for that, okay? It's going to go right here. I'm going to fill in more at the top, stem kind of going down the middle, right like that, okay? And then I'm going to do the flat side. I am going to do the flat side. Flip it over. So I can't imagine someone doing a bunch of these as a swap. Can you? But to each their own. I'm always amazed at what people, the amount of work they'll go into for a swap card to give to someone else. Some people just really value their cards with their names, and some people just love doing over-the-top cards, which is cool. Okay, so there's my flower. And then I'm going to glue this directly to the center of this crumb cake circle with liquid glue. Right like that. Okay. Then this, now that I've got that all gelled on there, like this, okay, and look, this is going to go like that. And this is going to go like that. It's all going to press together, and I'm going to use my bone folder one more time to get a good fold on that, okay? So then this is going to be popped up right here in the center with some dimensionals. Okay, right here in the center. I am going to grab some ribbon and tie this in a knot. Just a loose knot. Probably only need like maybe 3 inches of ribbon. So have you decided what you think the your favorite ink color is going to be? Knots are easy, aren't they? Okay, let's get a glue dot for this. Glue dots are perfect for when you need to adhere single bows or knots like I'm getting ready to. This is going to go right here. Cute. And then I just need to add my sentiment and my embellishments, and we will be good to go. Now, you tell me. For this card, I used crumb cake, but I wondered if it could use, I'd stamp the sentiment in crumb cake, but I'm wondering if a basic black would be a good idea. Do you guys think we should try it? Let's try it. I felt like the crumb cake just didn't really pop very much. So let's try it with basic black, Memento black, and see how we feel about that. Okay, friends are the family we choose for yourself. Here we go. And this is about a 3/4 inch by 4-inch piece of basic white, but I'm going to trim this down a little bit. So once I have it stamped along that edge, I'm going to grab my paper trimmer and trim off just a little bit. Line it up with one of those grid lines that's on the, there we go. And then, I don't know, you guys can tell me if you think this one is gonna pop a little bit better. I have a feeling it is. The basic black's gonna do a better job. What do you think? Do you like the black, or do you like the crumb cake, or do you have no preference whatsoever? So there's the crumb cake, and there's the basic black. I think we're going to use basic black on this one. Okay, so do you see how this overlaps this circle just a little bit? I thought it looked better there than down here. So it's going to go flat against that circle right in the center of our label, but then I want to put dimensionals on these two sides right here, okay? So I'm going to put some liquid glue right here where it's going to overlap that circle right in the center. And then I'm going to grab a couple of dimensionals for my ends down here. And maybe a baby dimensional right in the center at the bottom to kind of level it all out really nicely. So maybe a baby one right there, okay? Because you don't want to put a dimensional up here and have a dimensional on something that's already got a dimensional on it, because it's just too lumpy, right? Okay, so this is going to go right here. What do you guys think? Do you like the black better than the, I think I do. I think I just feel like it makes everything pop a little bit better, don't you? Oh, Kathy likes the crumb cake better. Okay, there you go. To each their own, right? That's why I like to show you different thoughts on that kind of thing. There's no wrong answer. Okay, so now that I have that all down, I'm just going to grab my embellishments and I'm going to use I'm going to use the butterflies this time, the brass butterflies. There we go. I'm going to grab a large one off my package here. I'm going to put a large one right up here. I'm going to put a small one right here. And then another large one maybe right down here. Okay, so what I love the most about this card, right, it's definitely a fun fold, is the way you can display it. So, and it fits inside an envelope, although you would probably need a lot of extra. So here it is, right? You open up these panels like this, right? You should try it, Kathy. I hope I inspire you to try it. Okay, so there's, and look, it's going to sit right like that on the front of someone's table. And they can look at it for a long time and admire it. Okay, I'm going to bone fold these edges really well here. Get a good fold on that. There we go. Fun, right? It just is so cute. I really love it. Okay, so then these panels just fold in and we're done. I hope you guys love that. So that is our card, one of our cards for today. And the other card we did today is right back here. Fun fold number 2, and then we have the 2 cards that we made yesterday. So far, here's our online class to go for the week, right? And tomorrow is going to be 3D day. So I hope you guys love these. Join me back here tomorrow. Like I said, probably around 11 to 12 o'clock. I'll be sure to put an announcement up on the Facebook page so you know what time. You can always watch it on replay, especially on YouTube. So go over and like my YouTube page. And thank you for joining me. I have a little bit of a headache today. I don't know what lack of sleep is what it is. 100% know the reason why. So God bless everybody. I'm going to go take a little rest time and I will be back here tomorrow fresh and beautiful just for you. So God bless. Bye-bye.